Welcome back to Abel's Treasures. Today, I had the opportunity to talk to John from Getting Thrifty. He sells on multiple e-commerce platforms, as well as it has an Instagram and a YouTube channel. I will link those down below. Now, I will pick 3 items that I pulled away out of this conversation, so wait to the end for that. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell notification, and also subscribe to John's channel. I'll see you on the other side. Let's go. All right, John, first of all, I want to thank you for coming onto my channel. We met at FlipCon, and one of the things, I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel. The way I figured out you had a YouTube channel was after FlipCon, and I was like, I recognize that guy. And it was like FlipCon 2022 or whatever, your thumbnail. I'm like, I had to hit on this. This can't be the same guy. So that's how I figured out you had a YouTube channel. How long have you had the channel?
So I started the channel, I think it was 2020, like the end of 2020. My first video I uploaded was like a family vlog. We went to Dollywood amusement park, and then I started doing DoorDash video, like DoorDash content. Yeah. And I started getting some traction. That's what got me monetized, but I burnt out on that pretty quick and started transitioning into reselling, and then that's just kind of how my channel's little tiny channel has evolved.
No, I've actually looked at the number. You're growing, and you're growing quickly. I'm enjoying seeing that, and I enjoy your videos. So before I forget, so go subscribe to his channel. The links will be down below. Also hit the like button, share, all that good stuff. It'll help both of us out. So saying that, I got ahead of myself regarding the YouTube channel. Tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, where you come from, things like that.
I'm from South Carolina. Well, I'm from Florida, but I live in South Carolina. I've lived here for the past, I think, 12 years. And I was a firefighter for almost a decade, so almost 10. This year would have been my 10th year in the fire service. I ended up getting hurt on the job. That's kind of how the DoorDash thing started. I got bored while I was rehabbing. Sort of went down like the rabbit hole of YouTube resellers. Okay. And realized pretty quickly that, okay, I can do this, and I just haven't looked back, man. I transitioned from the DoorDash into the reselling on YouTube, and my channel fell off a little bit, but it's starting to get back to where it was.
Yeah.
So, and then
question for you, because I did a little bit of research, so I went all the way back to your first YouTube video. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching that one.
Yeah, it was horrible.
But that's how you get started, right? You have
exactly.
to just, I hate repeating people, but it's a great saying. You just have to press record, right?
Exactly.
Just have to do it.
Yeah, if there's anybody out there looking to do it, just my biggest piece of advice would be just forget the haters, press play or press record, shoot the video. If you don't like it, you can always reshoot it, but just put yourself out there. People will find you. You will grow. It might take a while at first. Your videos are only going to get 2 or 3 or 4 like organic views because you're going to be the one clicking on it and watching it and trying to get it to go. But I mean, eventually you'll get there. Just do it. It's the best thing.
Your mom or your brother, or,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My son and my wife were like constantly like replaying my videos over and over again to get me some views. I remember one night my son, he came and he was like, "Dad, he's like, your video got like 20 views in the first hour," and it was because he had watched it 20 times or had let it run through 20 times. He just wanted me to be happy and excited. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that probably means more to you than 20 other people watching it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, I watched some of your older videos as well. DoorDash kind of caught me by surprise. And what I mean by that is you were talking about DoorDash wasn't doing that well. That was the impression that I was getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Was that frustrating? Give me your mindset then.
Most of your money is coming from tips, and a lot of people don't like to tip.
Right.
So yeah. it just got to be a hassle, and I got burnt out completely.
So is that how you transitioned to reselling then? Like,
yeah, so
I'm done with this, or how did that transition happen?
So towards the end, the last few months I was doing DoorDash. I was actually doing another app called Instacart, and that's kind of how I found. Like I fell into Reezy Resells. He was at the conference. He was doing a lot of Instacart content during the pandemic because just the reselling stuff. It was very hard to get inventory. Couldn't go to the thrift store, especially in California where he was. So I kind of stumbled on him in the Amazon thing. And then I think I found Phoenix Resell, doing the video game thing. It's funny that this is just kind of how like my path into reselling was, but I found him and was like, okay, this is Amazon. Video games is so much more cool than used books, right?
Right.
And
Right.
he had a collaboration he did with Harry Tornado, where they were at a Goodwill or something, and Harry Tornado picked up like, I think it was vinyl tile, like flooring, and
Okay.
was like he like scanned the barcode on it. And he was like, "Oh, this is $5. I can sell it for $30. It's got like 100% sell through rate." And I was just kind of like, "Wait, what? What do you mean?" And that's just kind of I just went down that path and quickly realized like my time was better spent elsewhere. And that's basically I started making money. I sold everything I could that wasn't nailed down in my house. My wife can tell you I was like a madman going through every closet, every drawer, everything I could. And then when I started making money from actually going to the thrift store, which was terrifying at first, I was so scared to spend my money on something that possibly couldn't sell or wouldn't sell. And once I started doing that and realizing I can make some money doing this, I just stopped doing the DoorDash thing completely.
That's interesting. So,
Yeah.
and then of course you get down the rabbit hole of YouTube, and so Breezy was the first YouTube person.
He was the first YouTuber I saw, just because I was watching. I find when you watch other creators, small time or big, you get very good ideas. Like I'd never want to like completely redo something somebody did and take their idea, their original idea. But I feel like we could all play off of things that they did, you know?
Right.
And that's kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for inspiration for the reselling thing. I wanted to see what other creators were doing because my videos I was getting like 400 or 500, views a video at one point. And that seems like, a lot. And people ask me, why'd you stop? And you get so burnt out. It's just, there's no point. If I'm not happy doing what I'm doing, then I'm not going to do it.
So let's talk about that burnout at that time. How did you come back from that? What was your drive? Talk about that mental aspect, please.
So I really think what it was just something new, right? Reselling was brand new.
Yeah.
And I had, it was like the Nintendo, not the Super Nintendo, but like the first one, like the NES, the original Nintendo. One of my buddies, like probably 5 or 6 years ago, I helped him move, and he had that, and he had the console, and I think there was like over 60 games, like original NES games that he gave me, and that was one of the first things I listed, and I quickly realized, okay, well, I can list like every game individually, and I mean they just started flying, and the money started rolling in, and in 2 weeks I had made like $2,000 on eBay from that, and I was like,
let's go.
This is what I'm doing from now on, And I feel like that really, like that boost, just really like catapulted me into like straight into reselling.
Okay.
I feel like there's so much stuff out there. There's plenty of stuff. Like you can literally walk into any thrift store in America and find one thing that you can sell for a profit.
So do you get a lot of people saying, I can't find something profitable on your channel or Instagram, things like that?
So I think I haven't really. Mostly people complain about like price, like what their thrift stores are charging, or like their thrift stores are going up on their price, or people at yard sales are asking way too much money, and they try to haggle, but nobody will come down on their price. And I just tell them, you just got to keep at it. You just got to keep going. You're gonna find something eventually, right? You can't win every time, but you will eventually if you keep your head down and you just keep pushing and you keep looking for this stuff. I mean, the thing a lot of people don't understand is they want success overnight, and it takes you can attest to this. It takes a lot of work.
Right.
We're not just dudes that work from home. I mean, I know you're not full time yet, but you want to be.
Right.
I don't just sit at home all day and watch Netflix. You know,
Mhm.
I I literally, from the time I wake up in the morning to the time, usually around dinner time, sometimes after, I'm working,
Right.
with little breaks here and there, little things I have to do during the day. But my, family comes first, obviously, but at the same time, my business is what pays the bills. So
Right.
I have to, I have to spend a lot of time, a lot of time and effort on that.
Right.
But that's probably the most the biggest complaint that I get is everything's just too expensive. Can't find the
Yeah.
items because I can't pay that much.
I really like the point that you made of, you can't do it overnight,
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, you have to build up your store, but also the experience, you learn by experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you pick up versus not picking up? It could be the same brand, but one might have a small hole that you have to learn the hard way sometimes
Mm-hmm.
and pick it up, get it home, and you're like, I shouldn't have done this because it has a huge hole in the middle, you know?
Oh yeah,
So,
I went through that today. I everybody makes mistakes, and I bought something from. Luckily, it was from the Goodwill bins, but I got it home and it was like a vintage '80s like all wool. I forget the brand, but it's like a $50 sweater. Had a hole right here, right in the armpit. I mean,
yeah. And the worst
you
thing
know.
is seeing it when you're about to
Mm-hmm.
list it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was literally prepping it. I had it out on I have like a vertical flat lay
hmm
for my clothing pieces, and I had it up. I was lint rolling some stuff off of it, and I like pulled the sleeve up and was like, "Oh, awesome!" Now it's a $20 sweater.
yeah, yeah. You just
So
adjust the price because you've already done a
exactly.
lot of work into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of peeked on your Instagram channel, and one of the things I noticed on another YouTube video is you want to grow
Mm-hmm.
that portion of your social media. So I'll make sure I put that down below as well. So anybody
Appreciate it.
go subscribe there too on Instagram. But what I see on Instagram is don't work your whole life just to be replaced tomorrow. Can you talk to why you put that there?
Uh, so that's kind of like that. It comes from the fire service. I had a pretty bad experience on my way out. Not because of the people or the guys I worked with, just because I came to the realization of like, hey man, I'm literally going to be replaced when I leave. Like tomorrow, they have an applicant lined up that's going to come in. He's going to make less than me. He's going to do the same job tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I feel
hmm
like that I worked 10 years of my life to be replaced.
Right.
Um, and that was by choice. I left because I wanted to. Obviously, what I'm doing now is a lot. It pays a lot better. But it just I feel like we get caught up. We get caught up. Work. You have to work to live.
hmm
At the end of the day, and people, I see it all the time. People like work their life away, and they don't
They
they
don't
don't get
enjoy it.
anything. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it's one of those things that I'm choosing to make my own way,
Yeah.
essentially, so I don't have to be replaced.
Yeah, and I agree with that. One of the things
Hmm.
is the amount of work that you put in will be the amount of money that you get out, right? But what are you
Exactly.
going to do with that money? Is it a tool that you can go on vacations, enjoy life? By you working hard, if you chose to, you probably could take the afternoon off and take your
Mhm.
wife out or anything like that. You have that flexibility, knowing that you'll probably have to work later on in the evening to
Mhm.
get that done. But I think the flexibility is important and it's for you versus a boss.
Mhm.
Also, I wanted to talk about, I put this on your comments on your last video was aggressive.
Yeah. I kind of came out shooting on that one, huh?
Yeah. No, I like that. You turned it around to
Hmm.
make a point.
Hmm.
Um, will you talk about, because you and we both went down the rabbit hole of YouTube,
Hmm.
and we've learned positives and negatives throughout that process. How do you know to ignore some of the YouTube comments that are coming from YouTubers or resellers and accept the other things?
And
And we
I
can
said it
edit.
in my video. So take everything with a grain of salt, right? I don't take anything anybody says up front like to heart, I guess. When I first started reselling, I listened to a lot of creators tell me that these specific items were like money, right? Bolos all day. This is a bolo. Pick this up. If you see it, don't even look it up. You have to pick this item up. Don't miss out on it. Blah, 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 blah. Right? And I did that, and I quickly realized that not the same item is not going to sell for the same amount of money or sell as well for one person than it does another person, right? We're all...
Well, and the reason I asked that question, though, is
Yeah.
what resonated with me, and this is something that I say a lot of times, and I affiliate that to ego, right?
Yeah.
So if you gave me constructive criticism, I would
Mhm.
definitely listen to it and take a moment. Okay, and if my first response was, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and not
Mhm.
actually take that moment of, okay, what is he trying to tell me? And then is this valuable to me,
Mhm.
right? And if I don't feel it's valuable to me after I get past my ego of saying, well, I'm always right type of thing,
Yeah.
then I will accept it or let it go. And that's what I was kind of hearing from you in your video. You're taking all this information in.
Mhm.
Is it valid for me, for my location, for my store, what I'm about? And that's kind of what I took out of that is take the information in, analyze it, get rid of it if it doesn't apply to you,
Mhm.
accept what does, and continue to develop and move forward. So that's kind of why I
Yeah.
asked that question.
Yeah, no, that you hit it right on the head. I just feel like we're told when you first start reselling, you really don't know which direction you want to go. More than likely, you're going to be an everything seller, right? You're looking for everything. You're not niche down yet. You you kind of think you know what you're looking for, but you don't, right? And it gets back into the thing of don't don't buy something just because somebody tells you to buy it. You need to do your research. You need to look it up. It's great to know, okay, this brand, I heard that this brand is good, right? But just because, like you said it earlier, just because one thing in that, like one brand is good, doesn't mean every everything that brand makes is going to sell well, right?
Right.
So they might have one or two items within the brand that are the hitters, and everything else isn't going to be worth your time. So don't fall into the trap of buying everything somebody tells you to buy just because Harry Tornado told me that North Face, fleece jackets are going to sell for $20 every time. So if I can get them for $5 and sell them for 20, I can do that all day. And it's not really doesn't work. And I didn't mean to throw a name out. I just
No, it's an
everybody knows
example.
Harry
It's a large
Tornado. Yeah,
example.
it's just an
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
But just to kind of
Yeah.
get that point across.
So I have another question. I'm going to kind of pivot a little bit. On your Instagram, you have entrepreneur, YouTube, reseller. I want to focus on the word entrepreneur. What does entrepreneur mean to you?
So that's a word that so many people throw around. So I work for myself. I'm like pretty much, I don't want to say like self-made, but I work for myself, and I'm looking for opportunities to invest the money that I make into different ventures. I don't just want to stay a reseller, right? I want to have a reselling business, but at the same time, I want to move into other things, other avenues. So I have multiple uh, sources of income and revenue coming to me at all times, right? Because more than likely down the road, I might, let's say I do three things. I have three things going for me. One of them is probably going to fail at some point, right?
Yeah.
I want to have more than one thing. So like right now I'm focused on reselling, and I want to grow that into a like pretty much like a self-sustained business.
Right.
And then I've moved a little bit into real estate. I'm looking at potentially buying a second property at some point in the future, so I can rent out the house that I'm in now, so I can have more like passive income that way. And then I want to move in, like once I'm able to have enough money to invest, we're looking at like different business ventures, like some entertainment stuff to get into. But yeah, I mean, entrepreneur. You're it's like you have a bag of tricks, right?
Yeah.
All the
You
income
explained it
coming
well
in.
because that's what it is. It's a
Yeah,
multiple. It's not just
mhm,
one stream of income.
exactly.
Um, Couple of things that I heard from you, or two things I want to make a point. Number one, I think that's why I felt connected to you when I first met you and we're having the conversation. I want to, and I think everybody, so I'm not really talking to you right now, John, but I think everybody should try to find people surround yourself with people that have a growth mindset
Mm-hmm.
of how can we get better, and I'll bring you along type of
Mm-hmm.
conversation, right? And I
Exactly.
think that's how we connected. We were talking about a lot of what you just mentioned right now. Um, the second part, as you were talking, we don't want to forget your wife in this whole scenario. So you're talking about your goals. How do you and your wife have that conversation if you feel comfortable talking about that?
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you document it if you do? Can you walk me through some of that?
Yeah. So just like in like what I'm doing in general,
Yeah, do you write
that kind
down your goals and
of,
how do
yeah.
you
So
create them?
yeah. So when I'm thinking about goals, I have a lot of short term goals that within the next year I want to accomplish, and then I have it's cliche, but I have a 5 year plan and a 10 year plan, where I want to be in 5 years versus where I want to be in 10 years, and I've written those down, and they change a lot, not like the principles, but different things within those goals change. I mean, I feel like it has to, depending on what you're doing, and
Right.
your day to day is so different. But we talk at length about what we want, and I'm definitely the go getter. My wife, she's on board with everything that I want to do, but she's more she kind of just like I talk and she's like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And then once
Mhm.
I can actually like show her, okay, remember when I said this was gonna happen? Okay, now it's happening. And then I can take the pen to paper and then like actually create and do what I said I was gonna do. I think that really helped in the beginning because it takes a lot to just give away. Pretty much stepped away from a career that it paid okay, but my bills were paid. I had health insurance. My there was a lot of benefits
Right.
from being having the job that I did. And when I stepped away, she was not happy about it. But once I once I started showing her, okay, this is the income coming in. This is what I made before. This is what we're making now. We're gonna be fine. And she kind of got on board pretty quickly. And then as far as like just future goals, she obviously everybody. I feel like everybody wants to have money, right? Everybody wants to have luxury items. Everybody wants like an awesome life, right? But what are you willing to put in to achieve those goals, right? What are you going to do to make it happen?
Right.
Um, and I feel like I used to talk a lot. Like this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. But I never stepped in that direction. I never did anything to achieve my goals. And once I feel like once I started reselling, that really helped me understand what I needed to do to put my feet in the right direction to start walking down the path I wanted to walk down. If that makes sense.
Well, yes, I'm
Okay.
smiling because something for me I'm getting better at is the taking action portion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a dreamer. I have a lot of
Oh
dreams.
yeah. Yeah.
Taking that step, that risk can be
Mm-hmm.
very scary, but at the same time, you can make all kinds of excuses. Well, maybe next year, you know.
Exactly. No, it's true. I'm a dreamer too. I have huge dreams, man.
Yeah.
But I try to be more realistic, now. Of course, I want like that's why I say I have like a 10 year plan. I have a 20 year plan too, and that's like me kicking back, drinking mojitos on the beach or in Miami or something.
Uh-huh.
With money just everywhere, Rick Ross style.
Right.
But that's not realistic. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So, but
Right.
hey,
But
everybody.
I'm hearing you have those actionable steps that you're actually
Mm,
going towards now versus just dreaming. Um,
exactly.
yeah, that comes with age too.
Yeah, I have matured quite a bit since
Yeah.
young John versus. I mean, I'm still a young guy, but younger me versus now. I look back and I kind of curse myself for not doing things before to set me up for better success. But in 5 years, my future self will thank me for what I'm doing now.
Right. I just made a sale on Mercari.
Nice,
Woohoo.
heck yeah.
I,
I
I don't know
stopped
what it
selling
is.
on Macari.
Did you? Why?
Yeah, I stopped cross posting. I just feel like so I was selling. I sell mostly clothing and shoes.
Right.
And I just feel like it doesn't move very fast on Macari. Plus,
Right.
I feel like Macari is definitely a buyer's platform, so they don't really have a lot of like selling tools.
Yeah,
If
that's
you know
yeah.
what I mean. So
hmm
more of a garage sale type apps. Great, still, like I would never down it. You know, you can make a lot of money on Macari depending on what you're
Yeah.
selling. But if I was selling Funko Pops and I couldn't get on Whatnot, Macari would be my next best choice. You know.
Right. I think for me, Macari is kind of like an afterthought, and maybe it
Yeah.
shouldn't be. The ease, and I have an affiliate link, but this was not supposed to be a commercial here. List Perfectly just makes it easy enough to where
Mhm.
I'll just get it on Poshmark and Macari to where it can be an afterthought if it sells great. If not, I
Yeah.
have Poshmark and eBay that I fall back on.
Yeah.
That's
You're using List.
those are my staples.
Yeah. You're using List Perfectly.
Yeah,
How do you like it?
I like it.
Okay.
Like I said, I just actually requested the referral program, so I have a. This sounds really weird because I'm not used to saying this. I have a link which I'll put down below.
Nice. I might be using that link.
Sounds good.
I've wanted.
I
Yeah.
like it, and the reason why, because one, there's multiple reasons, but number
Mhm.
one, I just put on Instagram that I sold a pair of boots 4 times.
Mhm.
Well, once I got it returned, sometimes eBay will say relist failed. Well, I just
Mhm.
go to List Perfectly, relist them on all 3 platforms, and I'm done. Versus retaking pictures or all the other
Yeah.
things that you need to do. So
I gotcha. Yeah. I use Flip, just because it's free, but I've been thinking about switching over to List Perfectly. I know I've been waiting for. I want to sell, or I want to try Depop and Grailed.
uh-huh.
And List Perfectly or Flipped is supposed to have those set up, but it's been 3 months I've been on Flip, and they haven't done anything with it. So
Well, after this call, I will actually share my screen and
okay.
kind of give you a quick tutorial on what I like about it. Getting back into it, just a couple more questions.
Yeah.
You talked about your younger self, right? What advice would you give your younger self for what you know today, business wise?
So business wise, I would tell myself to definitely place a hefty bet on that Super Bowl. Brady came back on the Falcons. I'm just, I'm just
That
kidding,
would be
man.
business.
Yeah, no. I would, I would have to say like save money, save money, save money, save money. I would spend my whole entire paycheck as soon as I got it. It was spent. I hate myself for that because I just blew money like it was like going out of style, man. It was so hard for me to start saving. Once I met my wife, that she kind of forced me to like, hey, no, why are you spending all of your money? You need to, you need to save this money.
Yeah.
That credit, I had bad credit back when I was younger, like really bad credit. Definitely, like, do not get into the credit card debt because it almost like financially ruined me. But just being smarter with my money, investing early. I really wish that was something I did. It didn't have to be like investing in stocks, just different things. I wish I would have started a Roth IRA back when I was like 21. That would have been great. So I'm a little behind where I want to be or where I should be now, but I'm luckily doing the things now to get ahead later in life, right?
Right.
And then a big one was I like start reselling now. you know, I that would be great if we could go back and tell our younger selves to like straighten up and like really, kick
Yep.
ourselves for doing the dumb stuff we did.
Oh, trust me, I have a few. I mean, how much time do you have? Now, that's kind of the point of this channel is talking through the younger you, but there are younger people out there. Take action now.
Mhm.
And that action, even if you do not, even if it fails, you learn from it, and that's going to give you your stepping stone to your next point.
We need to realize like I tell my son all the time like, listen, you are going to fail at things in life. You just have to pick yourself back up and continue to do what you're doing. Even like today, off topic again, I'm sorry, but I can wrap it back into it. He was talking about his friend asked the girl to like their little 6th grade dance and she said no, and he was like, I don't want to ask a girl, she's gonna, I don't want to be told no, it's embarrassing. And I was like, dude, there's gonna be 100 girls that tell you no, like but
Right.
you're gonna find the one, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just to like failure, man, it's something we need to accept. And when you fail, you really have to get back up, keep it moving, because eventually you're gonna hit on one thing, and then after you hit on that, there's going to be something else you're going to hit on, right? So you can't be afraid to fail.
What did your mindset with that come from?
Honestly, the fire service taught me that. It's very hard job, very hard career, right? And just I don't want to get like dark or anything, but like there's a lot of things that happen in on the medical side of it that you really start thinking like, oh, like you second guess yourself, and you like I personally have thought like, this happened, I was on patient care, this happened, what could I have done better to help this person, blah blah blah, what if I did this, could that have changed the outcome? And it's like, we failed, but you just got to keep moving. A lot of failures,
but that's what makes us today. So
exactly,
by not going through those failures, those learning opportunities, I mean, you wouldn't be succeeding today. From my point of view, I feel that you're successful. That's actually the other question is, do you feel you're successful, or what is your definition of success?
So yes, I feel like I am successful, but I'm not as successful as I want to be, if that makes sense.
You're not satisfied.
So yeah, I'm not satisfied at all. What I'm doing now, I can make a living for the rest of my life doing the numbers that I'm doing. But I want more.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm greedy, but I want more, man. Like I said, the sky, in my point of view, the sky's the limit. I can go as far as I need to, or as far as I want to. And I want all the money. So I'm very like, I don't want to say I'm money motivated, but at the end of the day I am, right? The more money I make, the more motivation I have to get up at 5 a.m. and list my, however many items I list a day. Right
I'm
now,
going to stop you right there.
Sorry.
So there's a point I'm doing this because I think I know where we're going with it. You're money motivated. I want to dive into that a little bit deeper. Why are you money motivated though?
I'm used to getting a paycheck, right? Back before I was reselling, I was used to getting a steady paycheck. It was the same amount every single 2 weeks, right? My 2-week paycheck was the same amount of money. When I started doing the numbers that I'm doing now, I'm making a significant amount more, and I feel like I can do more, Like I can definitely do more. I've basically slowed my pace down to like I'm crawling right now, right? With the amount of stuff that I can do just in my day-to-day, because like I have a space problem right now I'm trying to figure out, but like then I can feed the beast, right?
It's a great problem to have.
So exactly, so I feel like the more money I've made reselling, like every time I get paid, like I have money just sitting in my Poshmark account that I don't need. It's just sitting there, and that's a great feeling to have.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling to have money in your savings account, investments. Like my biggest thing right now is net worth, right? That's something you know all about. I want my net worth to grow, and that's what I mean when I say I'm money motivated. I have enough money now in my bank, in my savings account, right? In my retirement accounts, we're good, but I want like to leave a little bit of a legacy to my kids, right? When I go, like I don't want to just leave them like how I was, My parents are still alive, doing great, but I want them to be in a better financial situation when they're, out of college, going into like the real world, or whatever path they take. And then, when I go, like they're hopefully they have grandkids, or I have grandkids, but
right.
I want to be able to leave them something.
And that's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
And I'm interrupting again. I apologize.
No,
but that's
man, you're
why,
good.
I actually don't think you're money motivated. You're motivated by your legacy of lifting up your children into a better position, just like your parents wanted to do for you, and your children will do for them, right? Yeah. So I correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't mind being told no, but I feel you're not money motivated. You're legacy motivated for your family.
That's a good way to put it. Like definitely. I've never thought about it like that, to be honest with you. But yeah, like definitely I agree with that. I mean, money motivates that, but
it helps. It's the tool.
Yeah, legacy. That's a great way to put it. Legacy motivated for sure. And obviously when I get when I'm 60, 65, I want to, if, hopefully I live that long, but once I'm up there, I want to be able to, like, I want to take out, $2,000 and just go blow it.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do that, man. Not that I would, like, I can't, like, right now I can't even, like, today, we booked a trip to Disney for
Hmm.
March, which, thank you, reselling, like, that's why I'm able to do that. That's a lot of money to do that, and it's,
Right.
but later in life, I want to, I just, not even later in life, like now, I want to be able to, I don't want to have to worry about money.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do what I want to do. Nobody's going to tell me I can't.
Yeah.
And, that's the best thing. I'm my own boss.
Yeah. That was the theme at FlipCon that I would hear from a lot of people. I want to do what I want to do. So they want
Exactly.
that flexibility for themselves,
Hmm.
but they understand because we were at FlipCon together, understand the hard work that comes along with that.
Exactly.
So, um, I'm wrapping it up here, but one of the last questions that I asked everybody, my channel is called Abel's Treasures.
Hmm.
Um, what is your greatest treasure?
So, definitely my kids, man. Like, I don't know if that's what you meant, but
Yes.
definitely, yeah, definitely my kids. I have two kids. My son, he's 11, and my daughter she just turned 5 in September. And I would definitely say, like, they're the most valuable thing that I that I have. I could not imagine my life without them. And basically, what I'm doing now is, like we just talked about it. I'm doing it for them.
Yeah.
Obviously for my wife and myself, but at the end of the day, them. They are the ones who motivate me to get up and do what I'm doing because they need me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I can't. Whenever I get, that's like the one thought that I have whenever I slack off a little bit, because everybody has those days where you're just not motivated, you're sluggish, you're like, oh, man, I do not want to take these photographs, I don't want to
Right.
list, don't want to draft, but like then I think about it, I'm like, if I get this done, I can tonight or this weekend maybe we can go do something, family time. They motivate me, man. At the end of the day, they're definitely my two treasures,
Yes.
and my wife. My wife and my dog.
And your dog.
Yeah, my dog. Yeah,
That's
he's a good
awesome.
boy.
Well, to close
Yeah.
out, John, again, thank you for coming onto my channel. Everybody subscribe. His link will be down below. Yeah, his Instagram, because I heard you're wanting to grow your Instagram channel as well. Um,
Yeah,
what
I'm
is that
trying.
channel? Remind me. Or at
It's
Getting Thrifty?
yeah, it's at getting underscore thrifty 37.
Okay. I'll make sure
Yeah,
that's out there as well.
appreciate it.
So again, John. Yes, John. Again, thank you very much for coming onto my channel and having a conversation so we can get to know you a little bit better. Now, it's my job to discuss the 3 takeaways that I had, and I'm just going to jump right into it. Takeaway number 1 is take action. One of the things he mentioned that resonated with me is reselling allowed him to take additional action. And after I reflected after our conversation, I want to say I think that's what it did for me as well. I'm taking a lot more action getting into the business world, and I believe I can contribute that to reselling and meeting all these people. Number 2 is don't be afraid to fail. The action that you're taking, you're not going to succeed at everything, like John said in our conversation, but it's getting you closer to those successes. So make sure you continue to try. And number 3 is create a plan. If you don't have a plan, in our conversation, we both admitted that we're dreamers, and I like that about me. But to be able to get something done, you need a plan. So make sure you create a plan. John has a 5, 10, and a 20-year plan. So I really appreciated that. Thank you, John, for coming onto my channel. And remember, the greatest treasures is connections with people. Take care of each other.